Welcome to A Survivor's Guide to Hell, where we challenge our listeners to take a closer look at the bright side of things. Here's the deal. Negative news media can hurt your character. Experiments show that even one item of bad news has immediate negative effects on your mood, your helping behaviors, and your attitude towards other people. Even if you don't watch the news station, you are still surrounded by a desert of bad news. But at Survivor's Guide to Hell, we want to provide an oasis from the negativity, the politics, and the contention. Each week, we select a difficult topic, then use that theme to help you laugh, help you find a bright side, or even change your perspective for the better. We want to improve your mood, your character, and your mental health with a healthy dose of silver linings. We are so happy you found us. Today, our unpleasant topic is breaking the ice. Breaking the ice with a stranger can be painfully awkward for everyone involved. In fact, it's often the toughest part of getting to know someone. Perhaps it's one of the primary reasons we don't get to know a person who may have made a great friend, or mentor, or partner. Many folks are searching for tips on how to break the ice. Movies and books often tell us that a smooth sense of humor combined with a suave demeanor is a good way to do it. Another media favorite for breaking the ice is performing a particularly sweet gesture, like standing up for a woman who's being harassed or helping a single dad with his screaming kids. However, it's not always easy to come up with a smooth joke and a charming smile. Sometimes the sweetest of gestures may be seen as the creepiest of come-ons. What is there to do when these tips on breaking the ice just don't cut it? With online dating on the rise and our social skills a little rusty after a stifling viral pandemic, the need to improve our ice-breaking skills may never have been greater. In fact, when a person fails to find genuine connection, it can affect much more than their relationship status. According to APA.org, the effects of loneliness are legion. Some struggles may include poor sleep, anxiety, depression, higher probability of collecting unhealthy habits, and early death. It's even been said that loneliness is the new smoking. Breaking the ice isn't just a cute rom-com trope, it's a critical step in developing long-term health and happiness. We want to give you a few of our own tips on how to break the ice using some real-life stories. First, we'll share the tale of Ferdinando Boero, who wanted to strike up a friendship with a man he admired. Simple enough, except that man he admired lived a couple oceans away and happened to be a superstar. Then we'll share the story of Chang and Eng, two men conjoined at the midsection who fell in love with a pair of sisters. The stories of Ferdinando, Chang, and Eng have a few things to teach us about how to strike up a relationship, even when the odds are against us. So bust out your ice picks and your hair dryers, everyone! Today we're going to break the ice. Part 1. How an Italian zoologist plotted to meet Frank Zappa. Meet Ferdinando Boero, or Nando for short. Nando is a talented conversationalist. He's a warm person who wields a sort of lovable bluntness. And he's the kind of guy that can enthrall a stranger with tales about jellyfish, exotic supernatural encounters, and some fun facts about Frank Zappa, all in the same conversation. Nando, a professor and established zoologist, is best known for his role in discovering the abilities of the immortal jellyfish, a sea creature that can regenerate itself indefinitely. He's even joked about creating a church with this immortal jellyfish at the head.
The religious guys obtain lots of money from people who believe in eternal life. It sells very well. So this might be a religion, the jellyfish religion, that will save you.
I think you're onto something, Nando. I think you could start that religion.
Yes. I'm sure people would follow this.
However, Nando doesn't see immortality as a bonus for humanity.
I usually say that death is part of the game. If we don't die, very quickly the world would be full of people. We need renewal of the individuals. So immortality, okay, sucks.
Nando has been featured in podcasts, documentaries, Time magazine, and other publications. He's authored several of his own books and scientific papers. In other words, Nando's mind makes him a pretty popular guy. You may remember him from one of our previous episodes entitled 2 Remarkable Stories to Listen to in Your Hospital Bed, where Nando shared the immortal jellyfish's survival skills with us. What you didn't hear? Well, we're getting to that. At the end of our interview, I asked Nando if there was anything he'd like to share with the audience. I expected him to promote one of his books maybe, or an environmental message, or perhaps a research paper he was working on. Instead, he said he'd like to share this.
My friendship with Frank Zappa.
Clearly, our interview wasn't over quite yet.
You know Frank Zappa. You never heard about Frank Zappa.
It rings a bell.
No, write Frank Zappa in your computer.
Okay. You do want me to Google Frank Zappa?
Yes.
Okay. Frank Zappa.
In case you don't know Frank Zappa, here's what's important. Frank was a musician that dabbled in just about every genre. Hard rockers and operatic conductors alike gave high praise to Mr. Zappa. His songs often soared to the top of the charts, and he'd eventually earn 7 Grammy nominations and 3 Grammy Awards. In other words, he was a big deal.
He was a very important musician of the last century, and I liked him very much. I liked the music and I liked the words that he used, the concepts, and so on. So I came to the United States in '83 with a secret plan to meet Frank Zappa.
It sounded like a long shot. Nando was a jellyfish scientist from Italy. Frank Zappa was a superstar musician in California. Plenty of fans with fewer obstacles have drooled over the idea of meeting their favorite idol, but very few ever do. So what secret plan could break the impossibly thick layer of ice between Nando and Zappa? Cue spy music.
The plan was, I describe jellyfish, and if I find new species of jellyfish, I will have to name these jellyfish. And I will name one after Frank Zappa.
Nando did just that. He dove into the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California and found a species of transparent jellyfish previously unknown to science.
So I wrote to Frank Zappa that I found this jellyfish. And after a while, I received a letter from him saying, there is nothing I'd like better in my life than having a jellyfish with my name. If you come to Los Angeles, pass by and so on. So I went to Los Angeles and we became friends.
So, the Italian jellyfish expert named a species after Zappa. They struck up a friendship, which resulted in a song dedicated to the jellyfish scientist himself. Find that hard to believe? So did I.
The last concert of Frank Zappa was in Genoa, my hometown in Italy, and he dedicated the concert to me. And he made a song on myself and the jellyfish entitled Lonesome Cowboy Nando. So if you write Lonesome Cowboy Nando, you can hear the song by Frank Zappa that starts with, my name is Nando, I am a marine biologist.
Nando was a nice guy and a college professor, but even nice guys and college professors can pack quite a bit of hot air. So after our interview, I did a little more research. First, I Googled Frank Zappa jellyfish. Sure enough, several articles appeared describing, pardon my pronunciation, Fialela zappai, a jellyfish discovered by an Italian scientist who named it in honor of Mr. Zappa. Zappai, Zappa. Then I Googled Lonesome Cowboy Nando. Sure enough, a Frank Zappa song appeared, rife with references to jellyfish. The first line was the most convincing one. "My name is Nando. I'm a marine biologist." Now I'm convinced that Nando is telling the truth, and that if anyone could break the ice between themselves and a distant foreign celebrity, it's lonely cowboy Nando. Frank Zappa died in 1993, and according to Nando, they were buddies until the end. Nando is the guy adventurous enough to uncover eternal life, but practical enough to scorn the idea of immortality. However, Nando may have befriended Frank Zappa because he offered a different form of immortality. He found a way to take one of the most intimate parts of Zappa, his name, and keep it alive for untold generations after Zappa's death. And thanks to the song Lonesome Cowboy Nando, Zappa returned the favor. How can you apply this to your next ice-breaking venture? It's simple. People like to be validated. Nando validated Zappa's music by naming a jellyfish species after him. It was a grand compliment, and one we can offer on a smaller scale to the strangers in our lives. We can give a kind remark when we appreciate something unique about a stranger, whether it's an interesting piece of jewelry or an admirable way they treated a child. Asking about something special, like a classic car someone's washing or a unique tattoo someone's wearing, can be a compliment in itself. Of course, if you're a zoologist, you can always just send a letter to your hero with a picture of a new species you named in their honor. I mean, I'd feel pretty validated. Just saying. Part 2. Chang and Eng. The fate of a Siamese twin who falls in love. One of the greatest obstacles of breaking the ice is a feeling of self-consciousness. How many irritated zits or missing teeth or bad hair days have stopped someone from connecting with a would-be friend? Regardless the feature that may make you feel hideous, it's probably not quite as conspicuous as what Chang and Eng Bunker shared. The oddity they sported was with them since birth, back in 1811, when their home country of Thailand was still known as Siam. Their parents, a fisherman and his wife, would go down in history as conceiving the first conjoined twins on record. Chang and Eng were joined at the chest, where a forearm-like appendage connected the two together. For conjoined twins, they maintained fairly independent bodies, free arms, free legs, free heads, nothing that a modern-day specialist couldn't have separated. Aside from their fleshy connective bridge, the two shared nothing but a liver. But since the first successful separation wouldn't happen until over 100 years after their birth, Chang and Eng were together for the long haul. As you might expect, the Bunker boys were considered quite the oddity. When a merchant spotted them swimming together at the age of 18, he offered to take them overseas, where he planned to turn their unusual condition into income. It may sound like an unfortunate beginning to the young men's careers, especially considering the public perception of their condition. In fact, as Chang and Eng gained fame, France banned the twins from entering their borders. When a woman in Kentucky bore a stillborn pair of conjoined twins, she, quote, claimed she had seen numerous representations of the twins in newspaper advertisements around the time she conceived her children, which affected her imagination, unquote. Some of the ways that Chang and Eng were perceived got pretty ridiculous, but despite the opposition, the twins became experts at breaking the ice. They were travelers, constantly meeting new people. Their sideshow acts, over time, transformed from typical oddity fodder to real conversation with their audience, often over a friendly game of chess. They contributed to medical understanding by allowing experts to examine their interesting circumstances. In fact, the medical community learned some fascinating things about Chang and Eng. When one twin tasted something sour, so did the other. When one man was tickled, the other demanded it be stopped. You might say that the band of flesh that conjoined Chang and Eng was their biggest shortcoming. After all, no one would wish such an impediment on their own children. But the Bunker boys used this so-called impediment to expand our understanding of the human body, to strike up conversations, to make money, and to share their lives with the world. Their condition couldn't be hidden, like a zit or a regrettable tattoo. Instead, it was flaunted until the twins had amassed a fortune worth over $1 million of today's dollars. With their savings, Chang and Eng retired to the Carolinas. This is where the twins met a beautiful fate that bewildered the world. They fell in love. Two sisters, Adelaide and Sarah Yates, became entirely charmed with the twins after speaking with them during a mutual friend's wedding. In time, it would lead to their own wedding, Adelaide to Chang and Sarah to Eng. Of course, there was some opposition from folks in the community, but the twins were well used to that by now. Chang and Eng alternated visits between each wife's household, and the curiosity of the public eye turned right back to them when they began bearing children. The pressure of the onlooking masses did not stop Chang, Eng, and their fruitful new wives from growing a family. Between the four of them, 21 children were born, many of whom accompanied Chang and Eng when the twins began touring again. These traveling bunker boys have taught us a few things about how to break the ice. 1. An adventurous spirit helps. 2. Personal oddities can be a blessing rather than a burden when you own them with confidence and class. And 3. There's very little about the body you were born with that can stop you from discovering the love of another person. From the mouth of Ferdinando Boero, we discovered that even superstars like a little validation, and that validating strangers may be the perfect way to break the ice. From Chang and Eng Bunker, we learned that a sense of adventure, confidence, and class is enough to turn the most unlikely of folks into a friend, or even a lover. This leads us to our Silver Liners Challenge, which is designed to be an easy, actionable step you can take to help boost your week and survive hell. Here you go, the Silver Liners Challenge. Practice confidence the next time you speak with a stranger. Look for natural ways you could validate them. If you like, feel free to share your experiences in the comments of our website, www.survivorsguidetohell.com, or on our Facebook page. If you'd like to see the videos and pictures that often accompany our episodes, like Chang and Eng, check out our website, where you'll also find much more information, including our storytelling code of ethics. We're always looking for cool news stories. If you have something to share, please visit our site and drop us a line. And remember, if you liked this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, and other streaming platforms. When you subscribe, you no longer have to go searching for episodes. They'll be delivered right to the place you listen to your podcast. Simply open the app or website you use to listen to your podcasts, find A Survivor's Guide to Hell, and click the subscribe button. You'll also be helping to support us as we spread our good vibes. If you like Survivor's Guide to Hell and would like to contribute, then you're already doing the right thing. Just listening is the best thing you can do. We've also seen amazing results when our listeners share our episodes with others. If this episode made you think of someone, send it their way. They may be grateful for it, and we will be too. Last but not least, our cheesy joke of the week. My father was born with a conjoined twin, but the doctors managed to separate them at birth. My uncle is once removed. Thank you, and have an excellent Monday.